The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, written by Frank Baum, was published 120 years ago today. A whimsical children's story that has become one of the most beloved stories in American culture. When the story was turned into a movie in 1939, this story took on new life as the characters came to life before our very eyes. The music went straight to our hearts as we struggled with the little girl and her dog Toto trying to find their way home. As it turns out, it was written as a political allegory, written out of fear. The populist movement of the late 1800s was afraid of the rich Eastern bankers and businesses taking over the country and squeezing out factory workers and farmers. Populists were afraid that Brian would win the election and be a puppet of the Eastern bankers. In the allegory, Dorothy stood for Midwesterners, the Scarecrow farmers, Tin Man workers, Cowardly Lion Williams Jennings Bryan. Slippers, which were originally silver, stood for the coinage. The Yellow Brick Road, the gold standard backing paper money. The Wizard stood for bankers in their emerald green city. Fear has always been an effective tool of the powerful to manipulate because trigger fears the emotion center of the brain, which works much faster than the cognitive area. When a brain senses fear, it cannot function in the higher cognitive region effectively. The fight or flight function takes over and thoughtfulness becomes less functional. Next time you watch the evening news or listen to a political speech, see if you can detect this fear technique at work. Cheeks become flushed, pulse quickens, anger builds, fight or flight takes over. These emotions signal that the emotional part of the brain is fully engaged. It is important to realize that fear and faith cannot coexist. Faith is complete trust in God and His character, knowing that He is in control. John defined it this way: Dear friends, don't be deceived by every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are of God. Because many false prophets have come out into the world. Later down in the chapter, he says, God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment. In this world, we are like Jesus. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. It's found in 1 John chapter 4, the first verse, and then 16b through 18. Jesus walked in confidence because of his absolute trust in the Father. Now he desires to walk with us as well, giving us confidence in our journey. John reminded us that we do not have to listen to the false prophets of our age either. Many are just trying to be noticed, making fearful predictions without factual foundations. On the other hand, Jesus knows what will happen because he is already there. He's already in our future. And Jesus said, surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. That's Matthew chapter 28, the second part of verse 20. See, we can be confident in him. Fear need not control. Have a wonderful Lord's Day. Bye-bye.